Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports Gladiators on the Basement Show with Mr. Knast. I am Mr. Knast. Joining me tonight is Mr. Ron. How
Hey
you doing
everybody,
tonight, Ron?
how you
We
doing?
were, we were back. From extended weekend. Something had come up on this past Friday, so I had to make the decision to cancel Friday night movie night again. I hope everybody forgives me for that. I do not like canceling shows. But both me and Miss Andrew had something come up last minute that we both needed to take care of. All is well. We were back for 4 shows this week and talking about something for the future, but I'm not going to tell you just yet. You have to tune back for that one. But this is our sports night. We have a lot to cover. Ron has an awesome show prepared. I'm going to piggyback off Ron for most of the night because he did his homework. I failed, but when it comes to sports, I can make up for it just as easy. So,
Absolutely.
The floor is yours.
All right. Hey, welcome everybody. Glad to have you in. We got a couple things that I wanted to touch base on now that we're kind of transitioning a little bit out of full blown Eagle mode and into kind of the off season kind of conversations, and then now that we're creeping up on Philly season, it's time to start talking about the Fightins and what's coming up for them for this coming year. So I wanted to start off just talking about development that just happened today with the Eagles. Today was the day that 4 contracts for the Eagles actually were allowed to void. And those particular people are now going to be unrestricted free agents when the free agency period opens. And that's James Bradbury, TJ Edwards, Javon Hargrave, and Kaiser White. And the significant thing about that development is that it's going to be a cap hit, a dead money cap hit of $18.8 million, which will go against the coming year's cap for those 4 individuals for those contracts lapsing. That's easy to say. Yeah, I'm getting all tongue tied now. So it wasn't unexpected. They kind of left that almost that exact amount available because I think they knew exactly the contracts that they had to allow to run, only because of the fact that Hargrave and Bradbury are probably going to get pretty significant offers to go elsewhere. And it's probably money that they're not going to be able to pay, especially since probably within the next 2 weeks, you're probably going to hear about Jalen Hurts' extension and how much that's going to go against the cap this year. So that was one development that happened today. Any thoughts on that, John?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the list that you had mentioned. Like, all 4 of these players had decent years, so it's kind of surprising that they would void out their contracts, and some of the dollar amounts for these 4 players is astronomical. Like, you figure Hargrave alone is almost $12 million right there.
Right.
And he's worth every single penny.
But he's probably going to get about a $30 million contract on the free agent market. So, and that's not an amount that the Eagles are going to be able to pay him. So
that is true. I have heard that he is probably, if not the top defensive lineman free agent coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
And Bradbury also is going to warrant some a lot more than what he made this past year because he was kind of on a prove it deal. So we're going to see that probably. There's also an outside possibility, and I hope that this doesn't happen, that actually one of the teams that may be interested in Bradbury is actually him going back to the Giants.
Yeah, I did read that too.
So let's hope that one doesn't happen, but just because it's the Giants. But
yeah. And then I'm also looking at this website, and there's a new rumor out saying that the Eagles would tag C.J. Gardner-Johnson to get franchise tag if no new contract is reached. Now
Mm,
that's kind of interesting because you figure if you sign a franchise tag, you're basically guaranteed a 1 year salary in that top five of that position.
correct.
So I don't know what the safety aspect of it would be, but I'm thinking that would be about 11, $12 million right there.
Yeah, it probably is. But I mean,
So
if they're going to lose Bradbury, then there's a higher possibility that they might want to keep Johnson. So
I mean, he definitely worth the money. I mean,
yeah.
he proved last year that he's a top-notch safety in this league.
Hmm.
But that just seems like a big price tag to pay for someone, especially if it's only on a 1 year deal.
Right.
Because the
Yeah.
franchise tag is fully guaranteed.
Correct.
So,
So I mean, they may be kind of just kicking the can there, and if they franchise him this year, when there's really not another player I can think of right off the top of my head that they're going to need to do that with, um, that may be an opportunity for them to maybe kick the can for a year, maybe that they're in a better cap position next off season, and they may be able to sign him to an extension from there, and he may accept the tag with the under the table handshake agreement that they're going to give him a deal next year.
I very possible. The only other one I would think of maybe, but I think he wrote his ship during the Super Bowl would be Miles Sanders.
Yeah,
What do you think about maybe considering giving him a franchise tag?
no, absolutely not. Not worth that money. Uh, if you look at the running back salaries in the league, uh, and the history of the Eagles just not having that kind of investment in a running back. They haven't paid a running back that kind of money in a long, long time. And really, his productivity was spotty at best. I mean, he had a good year, but you also saw Gainwell and Boston Scott have great success, and they're a lot cheaper, quite
True.
frankly. So, I mean, there's also the possibility, we could bring in a free agent running back on a 1 year, kind of a similar thing that they did with Garner Johnson and Bradbury and some of these other guys, where they get released by somebody and then they come in and sign a deal, to be on a winning team, and with the hopes that if they do well, they'll get a contract after. A couple names that come to mind. A guy like maybe like a Josh Jacobs, who's going to be out there. You got there's a few right off the top of my head. I'm probably blanking, but I just read about another one that was very intriguing about a running back free agent that could possibly be becoming available and might be somebody the Eagles might look at. I'm trying to remember who it was, and it's just escaping me right now.
Gotcha. Well, I just found the 23 tag values and for the franchise tag. I found the dollar amounts.
Okay.
So say you do franchise tag someone like Gardner Johnson, that's going to cost you $14.4 million.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the running back position, it's lower over 10.
Yep.
So I mean, all these numbers have gone astronomically high since
Right.
nowadays people just give money to anybody who's anyone.
Well, it just
So,
takes that one crazy contract to just tilt the whole cart sometimes.
yeah.
They then all of a sudden everybody has to get up into that same range because people start comparing stats, and if they're looking at arbitration and stuff, they're comparable salaries would be pretty high up there.
That's true. Good evening, Chris. Thank you for popping in tonight. It's wonderful to see you.
Hey, Kurtz.
We're just talking some developing Eagles news today with buying out 4 players. I mean, None of which really surprised me. Maybe I guess you can say, but like I still think T.J. Edwards has a chance to come back.
Yes, I think so too. I think of those four, I think he's the most likely to come back because I think they can get him on a decent deal, and I think that that may be a strong possibility.
But other than that, I don't really see him. Like unfortunately, I'd love to keep all four of them. All four of them were key pieces this year, but the money doesn't match up with them. Unfortunately, It's sad because they also, when they acquired them, had wooded out the last 2 years of Robert Quinn's deal.
Right.
Now I think that doesn't fall on our dead money, but I think Chicago might take a hit from that. I would have to really look that one up, but.
Yeah, I know that as of right now, they have not impacted our cap, but I think that Quinn, Sue, Joseph, those guys, probably Fletcher Cox. I think that they're almost automatically no chance they'll be back.
Yeah, and that's what they had said, that they would possibly have to retool a lot of the defenses off season.
Yeah. And a coordinator, Well,
the coordinator is a funny story, but I have my opinion on that.
Okay, go for it.
Well, as everyone knows, Jonathan Gannon left Philly to be hired by the Arizona Cardinals to become the new head coach, right? Well, our good buddy Sheldon, so probably, I don't know if he's going to be looking in chat tonight, sends me an article today that Jonathan Gannon took less money to join Arizona than come back to Philly.
Correct.
So, my whole theory is he didn't want to face the media coming back to Philly because he knew the media would have blasted him over that Super Bowl and the defensive performance. It would fell on him and made him look really bad. So, I think he took
that kind of makes sense.
He took the money and ran.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that the Eagles offered him head coach money to stay, obviously the Eagles organization didn't want to lose him. Because there was an article out there that said that he got quiet fired, that they didn't fire him, but they sprung on him, after the game. Oh, by the way, you have an interview with Arizona tomorrow. You're staying here.
Yeah.
So there was a story out there that kind of said that. So, but the fact that they offered him close to $6 million would have been by far the highest paid coordinator in the NFL.
I know the ownership definitely liked him. The fans were always up in the air, back and forth with him. But I just think the fans would have probably had a peace of mind for him coming back to Philly after that defensive performance.
Dude, the fans hated him. They hate him. They blame him for the Super Bowl loss. And I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, Philadelphia fans are very well educated, A, and B, they don't forget. So that would have been over his head for the entire time he was here. And I'm sure that was part of the decision making as well.
Yeah.
Like you said, he didn't want to face the music.
So he's been quoted in saying to Peter King, they came back and they were like, here's a new offer that's going to pay you more than being a head coach. That's cool, and I loved it there, but I wanted to be a head coach.
Right. Because, you're riding the wave right now. There was no better year for him to get an opportunity than this year. Coming off of, making it to the Super Bowl, that's going to land you very high on a lot of teams' lists. Especially a team that, doesn't want to pay an established guy. They want to get a young mind in there and develop them. So that's kind of, he is a young guy.
True.
As was Steichen, going to Indianapolis as well.
Yeah, but at least Steichen didn't take the first choice at defensive coordinator to be his defensive coordinator, because that's exactly what Jonathan Gannon did.
Yeah, he took
Nick Ballas.
Nick Ballas, yeah, the linebacker coach.
Which he was going to, in my opinion, probably would have been our next defensive coordinator.
He might have been. That would have been a possibility. I mean, um, right now, I think there's a couple of experienced names floating around there. Uh, Obviously, every time somebody talks about a DC position, Lovey Smith is coming up. Um, Vance Joseph, who just got let go out in Denver,
Mm-hmm.
was interviewed as well. And they're also there's a college coach in Wisconsin.
Jim Leinord or something.
Yeah, something like that. And he's going to interview as well.
Yeah, I know. Joseph Gallagher, who was on our show, was the preview in the Super Bowl. He's from Wisconsin, like he always says. He's super excited, and my group chat was bouncing off the walls when he heard the Eagles were interviewing Leinhold because he wants him so bad. So,
Yeah.
good evening, Kelsey. Thanks for popping in tonight.
Hey, Kelsey.
But it'll be a very interesting format to see who the Eagles actually do wind up plucking for their defensive coordinator because the choices are getting lower. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is too is you're going to be losing some significant talent.
yeah,
So it's almost like you're starting from scratch. I mean, you've got a base, but there's a good chance that defense is going to be a challenge this year.
yeah. That's why, like I said last week, you gotta dig up Jimmy Johnson and clone him.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And just on another note, Jim Schwartz just signed as the DC in Cleveland a few weeks ago. So there's an old name that wasn't very popular in Philly either.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had our fair share since Jimmy Johnson passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I really shouldn't say this, but my funniest and most head-scratching one would have to be back in 2011, 2012, when Andy Reid promoted Juan Castillo.
An offensive line coach to be a defensive coordinator.
I was like, what is he doing?
And that was a nightmare. He was trying to get him into the a better position, to move him forward, but he really was not a strong defensive mind at all.
No. And
That wasn't in his wheelhouse.
No, and after that, they had Sean McDermott for a year.
Yeah.
What that could have turned into be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just sometimes when you promote a coach, it just baffles me.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he was maybe back in the day afraid of losing a coach like Juan Castillo, because at that time you could really lose coaches in a blink of an eye. So maybe he said, "No, I'm going to make him a DC. That way, no one can touch him for a year. He's mine." Like I don't know.
That's true, because they have to give him a lateral or higher position in order for him to leave the organization.
Yeah, that is true.
So, yeah, I mean, some of the other coaching moves, just a few from this last couple of weeks. Eric Bieniemy finally getting out from under the shadow of Andy. Looks like he's going to be the assistant head coach and offensive coordinator for Washington.
Yeah.
And like I said, Schwartz would go into Cleveland as a DC. Brian Schottenheimer is now the offensive coordinator in Dallas, who replaced Kellen Moore, who went to the Chargers.
Yep.
Chargers, right? Yep. Yeah. Okay. And then you got Sean Payton, obviously went out to Denver. That cost Denver a first-round pick this year, a second-round pick next year, and they get a third back in 2024, and they get Sean Payton. So,
Ron, what do you think of the Broncos' new head coach?
What do I think of the Broncos' new head coach? It'll be interesting to see what he can do. I mean, first and foremost, he's got to find a way to get the most out of Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson's performance this past year was underwhelming at best. Um, he showed flashes, but nothing like what he did in Seattle. I think that they need to spend more time developing the team around him and building it with pieces that are better suited for his skill set. I think that it was a case of trying to fit a quarterback into the system as opposed to developing the system around the quarterback. And when you make that kind of investment in a guy like Russell Wilson and the amount of money and resources that you spent to get him, you kind of have to build around him, because there's no way in the next few years that you can get rid of him, because his cap hit is astronomical, dead money hit, if they were to try and move off of him in the next 3-4 years.
Yeah. I agree with everything you're saying. I really hope the Broncos can make some moves this year. I mean, you have a veteran quarterback and a veteran head coach now, so I don't see why they can't. So,
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's two different coaching kind of styles clashing because he's not Pete Carroll, but Sean Payton's been in the big games before. He knows how to win them.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if anybody can maximize, a player like Russell Wilson, I think that Sean Payton's a guy that, has the knowledge and the know-how to get it done. So
the thing that baffles is that Prince.
Hey, Prince.
The thing that baffles me about Denver, though, they haven't hired an offensive or defensive coordinator yet.
No.
They hired a special teams coordinator, looking at the list I just pulled up, and Ben Kowicka. And then he brought in Mike Westhoff out of retirement as assistant head coach in special teams. Dan Dalrymple, strength and conditioning coach. Zach Sheriff, offensive line coach. Declan Doyle, tight ends coach. And Logan Kilgore as quality control passing game coordinator. But no offensive or defensive coordinator yet.
Yeah.
So, Prince says share bomb. Thank you, Prince.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what direction they go in. I mean, there's still, other quality candidates out there. So I think once all the head coach positions were filled, I think that they feel that, now is a better time to shop for the OC and the DC, because the price is going to go down a little bit, because they can always negotiate with I had an interview for this position, interview for that position, etc. So now that pretty much all the coaching vacancies are full, I think now you'll start to see some of those other pieces come into place.
True. I mean, it says this is from a day ago, but rumor is Rex Ryan interviewed for the Broncos DC job. That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to, I would consider Rex Ryan for a year. I mean, I was always a Rex Ryan fan. I mean, he didn't always have the best talent to work with, but when whatever he had, he made the best of it.
Mm-hmm. But going back to your Eric B. Enemy comments, I think that's possibly, hey, Ron Rivera, you have one more year to prove yourself. If not, we're going in a different direction.
Yep, absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
I mean, I've always said that Eric Bieniemy deserves a head coaching job, and now being the OC / assistant head coach in Washington, that just tells me, hey, Ron Rivera, your seat's getting pretty warm, buddy. We have your successor ready to go. Prove it or shut up.
Yeah. And that's assuming that he makes it through the season. I think he's made so many missteps so far. I mean, they did play some good ball. I mean, for a while there. I mean, they had a decent record, but they just weren't built to win that division. The competition is just too stiff.
I mean, Eric Bieniemy is a hell of a coach, though. You can't knock him for that. Like, the biggest thing that he has come out and said, though, he's not sure about the quarterback position.
Yeah.
So that just tells me either Washington's going to maybe try out and get a free agent or possibly draft another one. Because I don't see them bringing back Carson Wentz for one.
No.
Tyler Heineke's the oddball. And then you have a second year / rookie almost, Sam Howell coming back, who, as of right now, is your QB1 in Washington.
Yeah, and I don't know about that. I think they're definitely going to be in the market for a quarterback. I could see somebody like, just off the top of my head, I mean, depending on what they do out in San Francisco, I mean, you don't know if Trey Lance is going to be the guy. If they move away from Lance, if they, you got Jimmy G out there floating around. You got Derek Carr.
Who's now a free agent.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's names out there that I think would not be a bad fit for the Washington offense. I mean, I think they've got some good weapons on offense. They got a couple decent receivers in McLaren and what's the other guy?
Dotson.
Yeah. Okay.
Dotson. They have Samuel still under contract. So.
Yep. So I mean, they've got some talent. They just need a consistency in quarterback, and they haven't had that for a couple years. They just kept on shuffling people back and forth, and that's no way to run an offense or run an organization. So, but that organization's been in shambles for years. Mm-hmm. They were hoping Rivera was going to right the ship, but obviously that wasn't the case.
Well, Washington, like Jacksonville, has always been big spenders in the free agency market, but they can't put it all together on the field.
Yep.
We're starting to see the turn of the tide a little bit in Jacksonville. So now hopefully Washington, maybe 2-3 years, can right in that ship. Maybe.
Well, Jacksonville's been successful for one reason only, Doug Peterson. I mean, Doug Peterson has brought a whole new outlook to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think they're a playoff team next year. I think Trevor Lawrence continues to develop under Doug, and I think that it was probably one of the smartest moves they ever made.
Yeah. So then another name that I saw an article yesterday that was really mind blowing. Okay, now obviously you can't really predict the future, but this one was surprising because it was entertaining in the idea that Chicago moves Justin Fields. And then goes after one of these younger quarterbacks coming out in the draft.
Yeah.
And like that just seems astronomically ridiculous to me. Like, how do you trade up in a draft and then 2 years later package this guy up and try to trade him?
I don't think they're going to trade him. I think he's the guy. I read the same articles. I mean, anytime a team's got a pick that high, all these other, conspiracy theories start coming out. But I would be shocked if they moved off of Justin Fields now.
I don't see it neither. I was just, like you said, shocked by reading that article. I mean,
I read the same article and I had the same reaction. It's just it was ridiculous to me. I mean, I think that they finally got a guy who, who's out there and is capable of transforming a game and putting a team on his shoulders, which you saw him do a couple times, where he just took it personal and he just started taking over the game.
Yeah.
So I think that they need to retool their offense a little bit. I mean, I think if they put some more talent in there, I think that those guys could have a decent run. Or team. Yeah. I mean, and with Aaron Rodgers probably not going to be in Green Bay, now all of a sudden that division is kind of wide open. Kind of wide open. Yeah. Hey, Kev.
Got Kevin in the building. What's up, Mr. McGowan? Nice to see you. But yeah, I mean, if I was Chicago, yes, I hold on to Justin Fields for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but if I can get assets, I'd move back.
Oh yeah.
Because
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, the other article I had read, I had mentioned a couple weeks ago, was a trade involving Chicago and Indianapolis, where Indianapolis would move up to 1, Chicago would fall back down to 4, get 4 picks, and wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. Now that's a trade I would take because you have a franchise quarterback, and now you have a solidified number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
And you still can get a top 5 talent in the draft.
Yeah.
So
Good point. I mean, that's it. You're going to see how valuable that pick becomes as the draft gets closer. I mean, there's probably going to be a bidding war for that pick. So they'll probably get a nice haul for it, I would imagine.
yeah, because Indianapolis and Houston, 2 division teams of all things, are going to be fighting for these top 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Unless you have a sneaky third team, just give up the whole farm and try to move up and stuff. Gary, hey, welcome back, Basement Show.
Hey,
yes,
Gary.
we did take a extended weekend. I apologize about that. Maybe that's why everyone's slow tonight. I'm sorry. We're back. We're back to 4 shows and soon to be maybe 5 shows. Still in the works, but yes, we are back. But the Aaron Rodgers one was another interesting thing because what does he all like? What market does he have? I mean, I know the Jets have shown interest. The Raiders now are looking for a quarterback.
I think the Jets is pretty likely. I mean, I think that that may be a destination for him. I think that they're willing to spend what it's going to take to get him there, and it automatically puts them in a much better position than they're in currently.
I mean, if he goes to the Jets, you might as well just call him Brett Favre Jr., okay?
Yeah, well,
He's following in those footsteps, and then the next thing you know, Kirk Cousins gets balled out in 2 years, and Aaron Rodgers winds up in Minnesota. Then we're going to call him Brett Favre, okay? You're going to sit there, criticize a Hall of Famer, but then you basically follow his footsteps.
Yeah. Well, you just want to, get a shot at, sticking it to the team that stuck it to you.
Yeah.
In his eyes, and when he comes out of the dark room, sound deprivation thing that Aaron Rodgers did this past week.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking with Pat McAfee, and he went through this whole scenario of staying in this dark room for days, and then no sound, and they slide the food through a slot in the door. It's totally dark, and that was where he was going to ponder his future.
Yeah. And then obviously the Packers move on from Aaron Rodgers. That enters Jordan Love. Now let's put up or shut up for Jordan Love this year because he's going into a 5th-year of his rookie deal. He has to prove something, so I don't have a problem with Green Bay giving him a shot. But if he bombs, Green Bay's going to be in a hurt next season. So
that's true.
It's like a solitary in jail, but no light, and a good slot. Only the weirdo Rodgers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
well, he is an interesting character.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you got to do to make up your mind. I think it's as easy to say, "Hey, I'm retiring," or "Hey, I'm coming back."
Yeah.
Just like I don't think you've seen the last of Tom Brady.
Well, Greg Olson this week really came out firing with the Tom Brady thing. He did an interview and basically said, "Hey, I'm not going away without a fight. Tom Brady's coming to take my job." He said he probably will, but it's not like I'm just going to roll over. I'm going to fight for it,
Yep. Do whatever you want as long as you can ball on Sundays. Okay.
Yeah.
That is true. I mean, looking at your article that you said about Greg Olson right now.
Yeah.
And not going to roll over and die.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, so that was pretty strong. I'm sure Fox wasn't real happy with that, but
No.
last thing they want is their, $137 million guy to, be getting trashed in an interview by your current guy.
Yeah. I'm willing to do what these guys aren't willing to do until they kick me out. I'm going to sit there and do it. Maybe he does come and take my job one day. I can live with that. I understand the rules that we all signed up for. I don't ask for anybody's sympathy. It's been awesome. Pretty blunt, pretty honest.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. He has. In my opinion, I agree with you, Kev. I think that he has surpassed Romo. Romo took a step down from when he first started. I mean, when he first started, he was amazing. He's sitting there, I remember watching the first game he called, and he's sitting there calling plays left and right.
Mm-hmm.
But then he turned into this chatterbox that, had no rhyme or reason, and for a guy who's supposed to be analyzing the game, he spent way too much time just talking gibberish.
Yeah. Romo mailed it in after his big contract. That's
Fair
awesome.
enough. Yeah.
I mean, I actually kind of like Tame Back Romo. I'm not going to lie, because as good as it was to see someone be able to predict the plays and all that, it kind of got old.
After a while, yeah. It was like, okay, we get it. You know the plays. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean.
And then the other guy, and then whoever's in the booth with him's going like, really, man? Really?
Yeah, well, that's why they put him with Jim Nance, so.
Yeah, because you can't rattle Jim Nance. It's impossible.
No.
He's just a guy that just is like automatic, like a robot, which is good and bad.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of announcers, I mean, I'm sure you read the sad news over the weekend as well. That
Collinsworth got fired? Please.
Nope. Fox lost one of the best baseball analysts ever with Tim McCarver passing away.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I mean, I only kept Fox's coverage for the World Series to listen to Tim McCarver.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tim McCarver really revolutionized baseball announcing. He really did. I mean, he set a bar over the course of many, many years that has been reached by very few. And he will be sorely missed because he was a great, great baseball guy.
Mm-hmm. Coaches stopped doing pregame interviews with Romo because they were tired of him calling all the plays. I mean, I would be tired of that too. You're basically giving out your game plan.
Yeah, I mean, you're a defensive coordinator. You got your headset on one ear and you got Romo in the other ear. Listen to the TV broadcast while he's calling the plays.
Yeah. So, saying according to a press release, McCarver died of heart failure.
Yeah. He was up there. I mean,
81.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a life.
Yeah, man. And I mean, he was the best part-time catcher ever. He only had to work every 5 days. He was, his regular catcher caught 4 days a week, and when it was time for Steve Carlton to pitch, Tim McCarver was catching.
There you go. Yeah,
and they were pretty much the only games that he caught.
Yeah, because you said he spent 9 years in Philly, so.
Yep. So.
Then it was actually led a full-time broadcasting job for Phillies games from 1980 to 82.
Yeah.
So, no, I was going to say he didn't team up with Harry Karras because Harry Karras was the voice of the radio.
Right.
You would probably, I'm not trying to make this to be a bad thing, but who was the TV analyst for Phillies back in 1980-82, do you know? All top.
I'm going to say maybe, I don't know, was it By Sam back then? Might have been.
See if I can find out.
It might have been By Sam.
I'm gonna look real quick. TV team 1980. See if I can find a list. The 1980 Phillies votes. Local television. Harry Karras, Richie Ashburn, Eddie Musser, Chris Wheeler, and Tim McCarver. So I guess he was a radio personality.
Yeah, I don't remember him. Well, because Harry and Richie were mainly TV, but I think at that time they used to switch back and forth.
Gotcha.
So before they had specific teams for radio and television.
Mm-hmm. I know we hate him in Philly, but being in my 40s, Joe Buck is my 20s and 30s and my favorite for baseball playoffs. I hate that he left Fox just because of baseball playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mind Joe Buck that much. I mean, Buck and McCarver were good together.
Yeah, they were good together, and McCarver always put him in his place.
Yeah.
But Joe Buck kind of reminds me of Chris Collinsworth when he just shows like favoritism.
Yeah, he does, but nobody is worse than Collingsworth. I'm sorry. I mean, the three guys who were absolutely totally biased that come right to the top of my head is a guy like Matt Millen, Moose Johnston, and Collingsworth.
Or should we say Collins' dick?
Yeah. God.
No, he's still there. I mean, he basically right now you might as well say Chris Collinsworth is the voice of NBC.
Yeah.
Because we both know Mike Tirico is not top analyst by any means.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of a placeholder until somebody else steps up, I think. Or they lure somebody away from somewhere else.
Well, they tried, and the guy did 1 year and backed off. Drew Brees.
Yeah.
They were hoping Drew Brees would step up and take those reins, but he did the 1 year, and that was it.
He wasn't very good at all, and I don't think he was very interested in doing the kind of prep work that had to be done to. I think he just thought you showed up on Sunday and just talked.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of those guys are working all week, prepping for a game.
Yeah, that is very true. Sean Payton jokingly offered Drew Brees a job to coach Russell Wilson. Drew Brees will have a senior assistant role to advise Russell Wilson. Like, it was a joke, but that might actually be kind of funny.
It would be funny.
I think he took that money and just basically ran with it. So
yeah.
For a team that hasn't been in the NFC Championship in 30 years, by odds, Cowboys ex-players, announcers, and most of the announcers haven't even won a playoff game. Yeah, true. I mean, in Chris Collinsworth's defense, I was shocked the one day I looked up his stats. I didn't know he was a 1,000-yard receiver.
Well, I told you that, remember? Yeah. Back in the day, he made a few Pro Bowls too.
That just blows my mind.
Yep. But he was a big, tall receiver when there weren't a lot of big, tall receivers. Like, it wasn't like now where every receiver's 6'5".
Yeah.
But he was just a guy that kind of towered over people and got that 50-50 ball a lot.
Is that why you also hate him so much? Because he's a Gator?
That's part of it.
I'm just looking at it.
Don't start on the Gator thing again, man. I had enough of that. I felt attacked last week.
I'm just looking at this. I was like, wait a minute. He's at the University of Florida, too. So is that why Ron hates him so much? I mean...
Yeah. I don't think so.
If I heard that correctly, that's news to me.
It's all to you, baby. It's all to you.
Collinsworth played for another team other than the Bengals run. Nope.
I don't think he did. I think he played all with the Bengals and then he retired.
Yeah. 7 years in Cincinnati, that was it.
Yeah, and he had injuries, and that's why I think he had maybe a neck injury. It was something where he had to he had to kind of quit the game. I want to say neck, but I'm not 100% on that.
I'm just looking at some of these names that were drafted around him that you're. It's kind of amazing. Like, I bet you don't know who was drafted right after him. If you go
What
back
year
there,
was that?
1981.
To what team?
It was drafted by the Chicago Bears via a trade of the San Francisco 49ers. And that's kind of interesting that it looked like this.
No, I don't know.
Mike Singletary,
Okay.
who later in life became the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. Who else we have? That same draft, Harry Long was drafted by Oakland in the second round, 11 picks after Collinsworth. Ricky Jackson. I don't see. Oh, here we go. Eagles were Dean Moretti, offensive lineman. I'm just looking at the draft in 1981 real quick, and
Yeah.
a lot of these names I don't really look familiar, I should say. But I'm just looking at like the Hall of Fame ones, like Russ Grimm, Washington. This is also in the draft with like 12, 13 rounds. So
Did you know? Here's one for you.
okay,
In 1985, Collingsworth signed with the Tampa Bay Bandits of the USFL, and he failed the physical because of a bad ankle, and he couldn't play.
interesting.
And then he went back to the Bengals until the end of the '88 season. So yeah, he had a bum ankle. That was his problem. But he did almost play for the USFL.
Yeah, but she's now making a comeback every single year,
Yeah.
and now you got the XFL back as well.
Yeah.
So you're gonna possibly have what 2 football leagues going in at the same time. That don't make sense.
Yeah. The XFL owned by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson
Yeah, and they
owns
said
the league.
people seemed pretty happy with it this past weekend.
Yeah, I mean there was some decent games, and there's some names involved. I mean, not a lot, but there's a handful of familiar names both in the coaching ranks and also in some of the players.
Bum ankle to 30 years later to a bum brain.
Yeah, just a bum mouth. He'd be okay if somebody taped his mouth shut.
That is true. I mean, looking at the scores for the XFL this week, 3 out of the 4 games were 1 possession games. That means something, right?
Hey, yeah. I mean, that's if they do it right, they could have an audience. I mean, we'll see what happens.
And then I think it's either next year or the following year, arena football is coming back too.
Oh boy.
Too many football leagues.
Yeah. Well, everybody trying to cash in, Plus the fact that there's so many players out there that don't get an opportunity in the NFL. They get these other outlets, but they're not making any kind of money. Especially the arena guys. The arena guys get paid dirt.
Yeah, that's true. Did you guys see the fans throwing lemons on the field in the XFL because of the ref bad call? I did not.
Lemons?
That's a new one.
Was it what was it? A free lemon day at the game? It was like,
right? I mean, I'm mad because most of these games were televised this weekend, and I didn't get to see them.
No, I actually didn't. I watched some highlights, but I didn't get to actually sit down and watch a whole game this weekend.
Well, not refs. I mean security team.
Okay.
That's 2 different people. You know how the fans make the beer cup snake in the stands. Yes, the Chicago Cubs fans are famous for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just an incentive to drink your beer faster to make the snake bigger.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's why people get drunk so damn quick too.
Yeah, but $16 a pop, I would have a very small snake.
I mean, security stole the steak, and the fans went nuts and threw the lemons.
Wow.
But where are these lemons coming from? That don't make sense. Were they giving out a dozen lemons at each fan that walked in the stadium?
Buy a ticket, get a lemon.
I guess so.
Maybe they had all Corona. They ran out of limes.
Yeah.
Good thing it wasn't Blue Moon, because they'd have oranges. They're bigger. They hurt more.
Here's a name. Here's a name for you. The Indianapolis Colts named the offensive coordinator today.
Okay.
Veteran NFL assistant Jim Bob Cooter.
Okay.
So.
The Cooter.
I've never heard of him, but he was the most recently the Jacksonville Jaguars passing game coordinator.
Yeah. Yep. It seems to me that at one time he was involved with Houston, maybe?
Maybe. I mean,
or maybe he played for Houston, like when he was a player.
Maybe. It says
he was,
that he also
was a quarterback.
He served as an offensive consultant for Steichen with the Philadelphia Phillies in 2021. So he spent a year in Philly, too.
Really?
So.
I mean, far be it for me to criticize a Cooter.
Jim Bob is a big name in the NFL?
Jim Bob. Anybody who's called Jim Bob has got to be, He was an offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions from 2015 to 2018, and he was a running backs coach for the Jets.
Okay. So he's been around.
Yep. Yeah, he's been around.
So that's a good hire for Steichen out in Indianapolis. That's something we could do in a later show, too. Compare the two teams, Indianapolis and Arizona, see who's going to have a better year.
He quarterbacked for when he played for Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
He was a backup.
Okay. Jim Bob Cooter. I like that name.
Jim Bob Cooter. Sounds like somebody who should be on Dukes of Hazzard.
Right. I'm actually going to look that up real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, plays Colts. List of opponents. That's what I was trying to do. List of opponents. And then we'll jump into your next thing that you wanted to talk about. I know you have some baseball stuff.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, off season, you got some off season developments going on, but we still haven't 100% recovered from the game.
That game, yep, that's true.
So we're working through it.
Yeah. All right. So I was looking at the Indianapolis Colts real quick. They unfortunately do not play Arizona this year.
Okay.
I was hoping that Steichen versus Gannon would have happened.
Steichen and Gannon, yeah, that would have been interesting.
That would have been a funny game to watch.
Although we play Arizona this year.
Yes.
The Eagles do.
Yep, I think you are right. Let's see if I can pull that list up real quick.
Yeah.
Eagles list of opponents. Here we go. 2023. We at. Look at the Philadelphia Phillies list of opponents. So we have Dallas, New York, Washington. Arizona comes to Philly. So that's going to be interesting. Buffalo, Miami, Minnesota, and San Francisco again. What's that? 4 years in a row now we got stuck with Minnesota?
So what kind of reception does Gannon get when he comes on the field and at the link against the Eagles?
Mixed. I think he gets mixed.
I think they boo the crap out of him.
Okay, that's possible as well.
That's my personal opinion. But hey, Philly fans, you never know.
Then for the road games, 3 division games, then we go to Kansas City, the Rams, Patriots, Jets, Seahawks, and Buccaneers.
Okay. Well, Tampa Bay is not. I don't see Tampa Bay being a force this year.
No.
I mean, you can probably look forward to that Kansas City game being that opening night Thursday night game.
Unless they bring Cincinnati in, unless they don't play them this year.
Yeah. Well, no, it's usually a rematch of the Super Bowl. Is that first game?
Sometimes.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
Not all the time. Sometimes it just doesn't work out schedule wise, but I think especially after this, the way this one ended, I think that you can almost guarantee that that's going to be that opening night Thursday night game.
Even though they do play Cincinnati at some point at home this year.
Yeah.
So
okay.
They also play Buffalo again.
Yeah.
So they definitely have their options.
Yeah. That's true.
I think they get to pick.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure the NFL has some say in it.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, because that's like their kickoff of the season. You know, they want to start off with a bang, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, roles reversed though. This time we go to Kansas City and win. So.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. Stranger things have happened.
I mean, if the schedule comes out at a decent time like it always does every year, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll be planning my trip out to Kansas City this year. Never know.
There you go.
But if not, the Patriots game is my number one choice for next season.
Yeah.
Go up north, see the Boston area and stuff like that. Since I've never been.
I for work related, I had to spend about 4 weeks up in Boston area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're not going to miss much.
Well,
The biggest disappointment of Boston, believe it or not, was the Bull and Finch, which is the bar that was based on Cheers.
Okay.
It is cramped. They jammed a big gift shop into it. The tables are like this close together, so even when you're eating, you're bumping into people. I mean, it was a horrible experience, and I totally was disappointed by that because I wanted to walk in and everybody yell my name, and that didn't happen either. You know, it was disappointment.
When life gives you lemons, throw them on a football field. That's what Kevin just sent me.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, man.
But no, the reason I want to go up to Boston. Stop Drag, thanks for popping in. Head up to Boston because one, it's a different stadium. I'm trying to hit all 31 different stadiums.
Yeah.
And two, after that game or before that game, I want to take an hour drive north. And if you know your geographical locations up that way, I'm bypassing Boston.
Yeah.
I'm going right to Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I'm a big Halloween guru. The fall is my favorite time of year, so.
Well, you just make sure you plan that in advance because Salem at that time of year, my family goes on a yearly basis.
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell you that both pricing and availability are very, very difficult in Salem in October.
Well, I would be staying in Foxborough and making the drive back and forth. So.
Okay. Well, that might not be so bad then.
No. Hope all is well, man. Dropped in to say hi. Just finishing my editing my fantasy match video. Ooh, can't wait to see this week. So, Trey's a streamer. He streams a lot of Fortnite. Then he also been streaming a lot of WWE 2K. And every single week he does a fantasy match up and like lets them have fun and all that. It's awesome.
Okay.
Mr. Kramer, you're disappointing me with your Eagles gear on. Oh, what? I represent my team sticking through, okay? I mean, if you want me to take it off, I will. I got a sweatshirt underneath, too, but... I don't mean to upset Kevin here, okay?
Yeah, he'll get over it.
The question is it upsetting you? Because if it is, I'll take it off.
when you first said, when you got auto-corrected the first time, first thing I thought of was I was ready to go to White Castle.
Mr. Cream.
It looked like Kumar. I was like,
Oh, cool.
White Castle, let's go.
I mean, there's only, about 45 minutes away.
Tom's River, closest one.
One closer, if it's still open.
Where?
Which I'm going to look up real quick.
It is not. The closest one is in Tom's River. Trust me.
Oh, I'll trust you, but I think I might know where one is.
Yeah.
Because I went to this one too. Locations, New Jersey. Okay. Yes, it's still there. But, wait, where's this one? Oh, so it is a little bit farther. Okay. The other one I was thinking of was up in Howell, New Jersey.
Yeah, there's one in Howell, yeah.
And
yeah, the one in Tom's River is a little bit, maybe 10 minutes closer.
Oh, that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Guess
but the thing is, if you go to the one in Tom's River, if you just continue down the road for just a couple miles, you're on the Seaside Heights Boardwalk. So you can kind of make a day trip out of it. You hit White Castle for lunch, and then you hit up on the boardwalk, look for Snooki,
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I have been to the one in Tom's River, so.
Yeah. I've been there a few times.
Well, that's the nice thing, because my parents camped down in New Gretna. So we used to leave my parents' campground and drive north.
Okay. One year for the Super Bowl, my son Jason was living up north, and he brought two 30-pack suitcases of White Castles down when he came down for the Super Bowl. So we spent a Super Bowl party eating White Castle bombers all day.
Yeah. I'm reading Kevin's comment and kind of try not to laugh, but I was in bed crying for 2 days and took a vacation day for the parade and pouted in bed all day. Then 2, and when I had to go back to work Friday, I made sure I had all red Phillies gear on so I didn't have to hear shit from all the asshole Cowboys fans at work.
Yeah. I feel you there. Because that, they had one day to crawl back out from under their rock, when we lost, and then they slithered right back under again. So, but at least they had one more day in the sun before they, did their normal routine and went back under the rock for the year.
Yeah, my Cowboys fans have been pretty quiet and respectful, I guess, because I'm respectful towards them. So I guess they don't want to slander me, but I wasn't upset about the Super Bowl. It sucks to lose, yes, but the way you lost, absolutely, but it was a good game.
It was a good game. It was the most competitive Super Bowl in a while. It was entertaining.
Yeah. And like I said last week, the Madden simulator was right. It just had the wrong team winning.
Yeah. And, and it gave me my favorite joke that I have now. Yeah. The one about Rihanna's fetus has spent more time at the Super Bowl than the Cowboys in the last 25 years.
Yeah. Or about Dak finally making it to the Super Bowl when he stepped on the field to get that reward.
Yeah.
Gary's right. At least the Eagles made it to the last dance.
Yep. That's true. There were 29, 29 other teams, 30 other teams?
30, yep.
Sitting at home, watching it on their couch, so.
That is true. I'm going to make one comment before you start your baseball talking. I know you don't care.
Okay.
Ricky Stanton Jr. won the Daytona 500. Go on.
Oh, boy.
A lot of left-hand turns, but I
left hand, left turn.
People hated it, but I thought it was a very entertaining Daytona 500. Did you watch any of it? No. Okay.
No, I did not. That's why the cars don't have turn signals, because everybody knows they're just going to go left, so they don't need them.
There are some road courses.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And you still don't buy into it.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. It's just a thing. We all have our thing. That's my thing. Like I said, I went to an Indy race one time.
I really wish that the players scored the touchdown instead of going after one. Yeah, I mean, everybody wishes that they would have, but we all know that Kansas City had a plan in mind.
Yeah, they knew exactly what they were doing. The announcers even said it before they ran the play. He's like, well, he shouldn't score. If he takes a knee, then they can run out the clock, and that's basically what they did. Except for 4 seconds. So, all right. Well, on to the Phils, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the roster right now, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still not finalized, but it's starting to take shape. We kind of got a pretty good idea who's going to be there.
Yeah.
We got a catcher. You got obviously JT, and doesn't look like Garrett Stubbs is going anywhere. So I think he's earned the spot to be the backup.
Mm-hmm.
First base is right now it's Hoskins, but there is some talk of maybe having Castellanos play some first base. He has played first base before, just not for a ton of games. He actually caught before too, believe it or not. But when he was in Chicago as like an emergency catcher kind of deal. But he actually played about a dozen games at first base with the Cubs. So it's not like he's never played the position. It may be a chance when they need to get Reese out of the lineup if for whatever reason, if he's injured or he starts to slide into one of his Reese slumps.
What we all know happens.
Which we know is going to happen at some point during the year. It does every year. But you also got JT who can play first base too. And he's played some first last year.
Yeah.
So, it all depends. I mean, injuries have a big part to do with it too. Now we've got some, interesting decisions to be made in the outfield. So, Stott's going to move over to second. Trey Turner's going to be at short. And probably will be the leadoff hitter. Even though a lot of people don't want Schwarber to be taken out of that leadoff spot because obviously he hit 40-some homers out of there. And he sees more pitches as a leadoff batter than he would normally, further down in the lineup. So, I mean, there's a good chance that his home run productivity goes down with coming out of that leadoff spot. But I think that overall, you have to put Turner in the leadoff, I think.
Mm-hmm. His first batting practice smashed the car window, and they were just joking about, the car. He's like, the car shouldn't have been parked there.
There you go.
So.
Yep. So, and then, Alec Bohm at third. So, as far as the utility guys on the infield, I mean, originally it looked like it was going to be Sosa and Derek Hall. But now, when they picked up Josh
Harrison,
I think that Derek Hall might end up back in AAA.
Now, you also have, because you have Sosa, Harrison, and then the other name on my list, Cody Clemens. Does he make the big league team this year or no?
I don't think so. It's all going to depend on how spring training flushes out. I mean, anything can happen, but if you were to ask me today, I think Harrison makes the team, and I think Sosa definitely. So, and I don't think they're going to carry more than 2 utility infielders.
Now, what would you use Harrison? Well, obviously you say utility, so you can play anything, but what do you see Harrison playing most at? Because they have him listed as a second baseman.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play a lot of second. I think he's played some third. I think that you always have to kind of, when Bohm starts to, if Bohm has some struggles, you need somebody who can spell him at third. Sosa is probably a better fit for third. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, maybe you use him to spell Stott every now and then, just to keep him fresh. So.
Because Turner's never coming out of the lineup. We know that.
No, Turner's not going to. No. He's locked in.
They're not going to pay him all that money and say, okay, every fourth day we're giving you a day off.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to assume the outfield's probably going to be Castellanos, Marsh, and Schwarber. More than likely.
Yeah.
I mean, unless something else happens in spring training. Now, the rotation is where it may be interesting.
Have you guys ever been to spring training, and would you go? I want to eventually plan a trip and go.
I've never actually went. I've talked about it a couple times, and I just never made it. My parents have gone a couple times, and some of my family has also. So, but I never got the chance to make the trip with them, unfortunately.
Now, Gary, who hangs out in chat, he'll tell you we didn't go actually to a spring training game, but back in 2018 when we made our Eagles trip down to Tampa Bay, where we were staying at was between Tampa and Clearwater. So on the day that we were leaving, we actually drove to the Philly spring training complex.
Okay.
And we took pictures and stuff. So there was no games going on, but I had been at that stadium.
Nice.
I have a bunch of pictures from that trip, and that was our last stop of the trip was the Phillies spring training facility, because there was a restaurant down there that we were recommended to try. So we did the restaurant, and then maybe 10 minutes from the restaurant was the actual spring training facility. So we knocked both out the day we were leaving.
Okay.
Nice complex. The stadium is really nice. I think there's 3 main fields and then 28 practice fields.
Wow.
On this complex. It is absolutely huge.
Now, are they still in the same complex now and they just renamed it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
So when we were down there, it's called Spectrum Field. I don't know what it is now, but
yeah. Okay. Yeah, Kev, you have a different trip that you need to be planning before you be planning any spring training trip, man. You know. If you know, you know.
When you know, you know. But
so, yeah. So the interesting conversation is looks like it's going to be the pitching. I mean, they've done a. Yeah, I know. No. Yeah. So the pitching is going to be interesting. I mean, I think they made some great acquisitions in the bullpen. I mean, they just signed Alvarado to avoid arbitration with him, so he's got a new deal. Now you've got probably 3 guys, maybe 4, that can throw 98 or better on a consistent basis.
That's scary.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a long time since our bullpen had 4 guys that could throw that kind of heat,
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, because you got obviously Dominguez and Alvarado, Kimbrel. You got Soto, who did a great job last year.
Yeah.
Bradley Falter, Brogdon. And then, probably a couple, there might be a couple other names I didn't mention, but
Andrew Benelli.
Benelli, yeah, and he didn't throw bad last year either.
Nick Nelson's been up and down.
Yeah. So, yeah, he might be a guy that kind of drifts back and forth. Because there's a good chance they might go to a 6-man rotation to try and there's a lot of conversation about them going to a 6 rotation this year, to try and save some innings from Nola and Wheeler, because I think Nola pitched 230 innings last year,
Jeez.
and Wheeler wasn't that much different. And they were starting to run out of gas at the end of the season, so they want to try and get them down to like maybe 180 innings.
I know you can definitely see the drop off with Zach Wheeler in the World Series big time.
Yeah, he was spent by then.
But,
So your starting rotation, obviously Nolan Wheeler are 1 and 1A in my book anyway. I guess.
Yeah.
You got Suarez at Ranger, and then didn't they signed another starter? Didn't they?
Trey Walker.
Trey Walker, right? Yeah.
Tejon Walker. Sorry.
Tejon Walker. Okay. And then, I think Andrew Painter makes the team. He's going to be he's basically a teenager. And I mean, he's going to be starting in the major leagues at 19, which will be interesting to see. And then I think if they go to a 6-man rotation, then probably Bradley Falter probably ends up being the 6, and Painter's the 5.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got it laid out. There's different sites out there that have it going a little bit different here or there, but I think that's basically where you're looking at.
Painter doesn't make it in spring training, but comes up in June, my opinion.
Yeah. That used to be the case, and you would say that would happen because of service time, and that very definitely was a big thing with a lot of teams. But Dombrowski has already shown that he doesn't care, because he's not going to be here, 8 years from now when it makes a difference with Andrew Painter. So I think that they just bite the bullet and they bring him up, and I think they really want to stick to this 6-man rotation thing at the beginning of the season, especially. So it'll be interesting to see, and I think that it's going to be interesting when spring training rolls around to see what his performance looks like, because he's just rocketed through the organization. I mean, he's everything that he was expected to be at this point. So it'll be, I really can't wait to see him out there in real game action.
Yep. So looking at this, I found a website, rotocamp.com, has a projected lineup as Turner, Schwarber, Hoskins, Realmuto, Castellanos, Derek Hall as your DH, Eric Baum, Stott, and then Brandon Marsh as your 7, 8, 9. So they actually have Derek Hall in as your designated hitter.
Really? Well, I mean, I guess you could. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't. So they've got Castellanos and Schwarber and Marshall in the outfield?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, they're going to need a DH.
Yeah.
But the only thing with Hall is he strikes out a lot.
That is true.
So, I mean, when you look at a DH, you don't want a guy that, strikes out that much. You need a better, somebody who's going to give you maybe a little bit of power, or at least hit for average. Going to put the ball in play. Unless you're going to bury him at the bottom of the lineup, but why have a DH that's batting 8 or 9? What's the point?
Well, they got in this one. They have Hall batting 6th.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
That's definitely something to watch.
You have to see how spring training goes. I mean, if he's, if he cuts down on strikeouts and stuff, I mean, he does have good pop. He's not a guy that's going to hit for average. He's going to be he's going to be a 240 hitter.
Yeah, at best.
Not really the prototypical DH.
Hmm.
But hey, you never know. They got to fill it somehow until Bryce gets back.
Yeah, and then the rotation they have Noah 1, Wheeler 2, Walker 3,
Yeah.
Suarez 4, and Falter is 5.
Right.
And then you can throw Painter in at 6.
Yeah.
So,
You could do that.
but the other big element with this spring training, especially, yes, players are now starting to report, but in a week or two they're going to be all separated again because you also have the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
And you got to keep your fingers crossed that you don't suffer a big major injury during that time period neither.
Well, the good thing is no Phillies pitchers are in the World Baseball Classic.
There you go.
So that's a good sign.
Yes.
So
let's see if I can find who is in it though.
here's gonna come. Wow, you got a lot of faith in him, huh, Kev? I think he had a good season. Brandon Marsh.
Yes.
I think he had a decent season. He came up a little small in the playoffs. But he was very good defensively in center. And I mean, that's something we were lacking for a while. So it was kind of like being the tallest midget. To put, but it'll be interesting going forward. I mean, he did come over from the American League, so now that he's got some experience with the National League pitching, maybe he settles in a little bit. But yeah, my biggest concern with him is he came up kind of small when we got into playoffs. So, but he was very, very serviceable in center for sure, and he had some big hits during the course of the season as well.
So I can't find the exact list, but apparently the Phillies have 8 players playing in the World Baseball Classic.
Okay.
Morito, Turner, Schwarber were all playing for Team USA.
Right.
So now I'm worried about that because we saw how towards the end of the season as well, JT looked and got beat up.
Yeah.
So now you got these guys playing extra baseball this year on top of a regular season. Granted, it takes away from the spring training, sure, but now this adds into people, I think. Huh?
Yeah, it's true, but I think they also traditionally carry like 3 catchers.
Okay.
So I think that he won't have to spend as much time behind the plate. He actually might be doing some DHing, JT, because I definitely don't think he's going to want to spend a lot of time behind the plate. So it'll be interesting to see.
I'm just looking. Wow, there really are 20 teams in this, huh?
Yeah.
Australia, Canada, China, Chinese Taipei, Colombia, Cuba, Czech Republic, Dominican Republic, Great Britain, Israel has a team. Italy, Japan, Korea, Mexico.
L'chaim.
Mexico, Netherlands, Nigeria, Panama, Puerto Rico, USA, and Venezuela.
Okay.
So you definitely got some interesting teams per se.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's look at the USA roster since I'm right here.
If you want to see something scary, look at the Dominican roster.
So you are right. There are 3 catchers. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
When we still being one, Will Smith and Hagen Saka. I don't know how to pronounce his name. So, all right. You said what team?
Dominican. Yeah.
The Dominican Republic. Oh my lord.
Yep.
Just the pictures alone scare me. Johnny Cueto, Contreras. Wow.
They're stacked.
Yeah. Catchers, they got Francisco Major, Gary Sanchez. Infielders, you got Willie Amos. Robertson Cano still plays? Wow.
Yep.
Nelson Cruz, Rafael Devers, Wendell Franco, Glad Jr., Machado. That's something I want to talk about in a second about. That's a very interesting thing I read.
Okay.
Kid Marte, Jimmy Pena. Hey, Gene Segura even made the team. And then outfield they have Tesco Hernandez, Elo Jimenez, Julio Rodriguez, who I love, out in Seattle.
Yep.
And then Juan Soto. So, I guess I'm excited to see not Adobo anywhere on the team. Whoever. So, yeah, Adobo, whoever was let go, no one signed him. So, he might be floating around somewhere. Thank God we chose Harper over Machado. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull this up and read it because it's spot on. Machado and Harper signed the same exact year, but Machado had an opt-out clause in his contract after 4 years.
Right.
4 or 5 years, whatever, and he's already exercising it.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's going to play out this year in San Diego, but after this year, he wants out.
Yeah, because he wants a bigger contract after the one that Soto signed.
Yes. But like that just shows me that you're greedy about money.
Yep. Whereas Harper, Harper signs an 11-year contract. 11 years, right?
13.
11? 13 years. Signs a 13-year contract and locks down his money, where he clearly could have signed a 6-year deal and got another big contract after that. But he was willing to make the commitment to get stability for his family and to play, where he wanted to play because he was impressed with the organization as a whole and the fan base, and it's just where he wanted to play.
Yeah, it speaks volumes. So Harper won championships and no trade clause, no opt-outs. That's why he's Philly now. Yeah, like Ron. That's basically what Ron's just saying. Like he wanted stability, and Harper got that. Machado, he's just going for the money.
Yep. Yeah, Harper went out of his way to play to the fans. Let's be honest. There's some guys that do it where it feels very forced. But the day he walked out with the fanatic hat on his head, and the shoes and everything else, some of the stuff that he's done in the local community, he's embraced the city, and he's just done everything that he said the right things. He's done the right things, and he doesn't come across as a mercenary like Machado is. He came across as somebody who, genuinely wanted to play here. He had people that he knew that were on the team because they played each other so much when he was with Washington. It's just a perfect situation where he respected the organization and he just ran with it. And that's why he's going to be here for the entire length of the contract. He's not going anywhere. His family's going to be raised here, and he's just going to be go down as, in the end, as one of the greatest Phillies of all time.
Yeah, Harper and Nick Sirianni both became Philly guys after one season, and it felt weird. It feels real. It does, because you can see the love, passion, and devotion towards the city. Yeah. Nick Sirianni's another one. He could wind up being with the Eagles for many, many, many years.
Yeah, he's a young guy. And he's really got the attention of the fans. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
He's 2 years in, and he's he's got 2 years in the playoffs, first 2 seasons. So you got to know that the Eagles fans are going to be behind him. So this year will be a challenge, which having to change both coordinators.
Yep.
So it's really going to test his abilities. But if he makes the right moves and he does the right things, I think that absolutely he's going to be here a long time.
And then he's saying Jason Woods was one of the biggest reasons Harper signed here. Woods left to go to Washington and played with Harper.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Woods another one who I thought was going to be here for a couple more years than he was, but then chased the money.
Yeah, but they made an offer to him that he really couldn't refuse. I mean, he wasn't going to get that kind of money here. And they threw a big-ass contract at him to get him to come to Washington. So, so you really can't blame him. It was probably the biggest deal he was ever going to sign.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a difference between making a commitment somewhere and then opting out and getting an offer that's, significantly higher than what you're going to make where you are and taking an opportunity. So, yeah.
So, I pulled up Jason Woods. What is Jason Woods doing now? It's going to actually surprise you. Woods signed a minor league contract with the Seattle Mariners in 2018 and played the 36 games for the AAA Tacoma Rainers. But after a stint on the disabled list with a hamstring injury, he elected to retire from baseball. Woods now works as an organic farmer in Illinois.
Okay.
Guess he found his passion on the farm.
Apparently so.
I mean, I was at the game the one night. I think it was against the Toronto Blue Jays. If I'm not mistaken, it was a weird Tuesday, Wednesday night game, middle of the week, and he hit 3 home runs.
Okay.
That was absolutely nuts. It was a dollar dog night, so of course I was there. Everybody can't pass up dollar hot dogs. Okay?
Yeah. It's a shame they've cut down on those. There was only, 2 or 3 last year.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Organic farmer sounds like growing weed and smoking it because he definitely loves it.
Yeah. That's code for organic farmer.
Yeah.
So I don't, you talk about farms, I don't have to tell the sheep story again.
Bah.
The one from movie night a couple weeks ago.
Bah.
Yeah. That's bad.
Bad. But I can tell you one thing. I was at the last ever, I think it was one in Illinois, Dollar Dog Night College Night.
Okay.
It was another bizarre game. It was versus the Houston Astros. Carlos Lee was playing for the Houston Astros at the time.
Wow.
So you're going way back.
Yeah, that's going back a ways.
And Carlos Lee hit 3 home runs against us that night. Absolutely horrible. Okay. And I remember sitting about 5 rows from the top in the outfield and seeing this guy about 10 rows to my left. He's like sitting there passed out like this. All of a sudden he sits up and it looks like an exorcist come flying out of his mouth.
Oh, no.
It's disgusting. It smelled like beer and hot dogs. And ever since that night, I never saw a Dollar Dog Night College Night together. So,
well, I mean, they could have took that to the organic farmer. He could have used it for. Okay, so we need to look at the schedule and plan on. We need to take a pilgrimage from the basement show to Dollar Dog Night.
I'm game. Sign me up. So opening day is April 6th versus the Reds. So they're giving out a 2022 National League Championship pennant.
Nice.
That Saturday, because they don't play on Friday for some reason, is a National League Champions T-shirt for fans 15 and over. We got Kevin in, Gary in. We could do a show right from the parking lot.
There you go.
Opening night is going to be better.
Yeah.
As versus the Reds. So.
And it'll be 38 degrees.
Yeah.
Like it is every opening day in Philadelphia. It's cold and rainy.
Yep. Sunday, April 9th, they're doing the National League Championship ring ceremony.
Okay.
There you go. Tuesday, April 11th, 6:40 p.m. versus the Miami Marlins. Hatfield Phillies Dollar Dog Night. So first Tuesday of the season, April 11th. Mark your calendars.
Okay. All right.
And we
I'm
can
in.
go see Gene Segura.
Hey, there you go.
Day games, rainy and night game, -30 and windy.
Yeah. Yep.
That is a very true statement.
I've been to some opening days, quite a few. Me and Jason used to go every year to opening day, and it was always raining and it was always cold as hell.
I've been to one, so I can say I have been to at least one. It was, I think, the year before Harper and Machado signed with the respective teams, but it was against the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
And it was like 65 and sunny. It was absolutely beautiful weather. If you, I can't reach it from here. Next week I'll wear my Fanatics hat on the show. How about that?
Okay, there you go.
We'll really get ready for Philly season then. Then you have another one, April 25th versus the Seattle Mariners. Another dog night.
What day of the week was the first one?
Tuesday.
A Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
That could be done.
Right now we're looking at 2 Tuesdays for dog night.
Okay.
What else do we got? Make that 3. May 9th versus the Blue Jays. That would be a good one.
Might be a little warmer in May.
Yeah, and I mean the Blue Jays would be a good team to go see too.
Let's call that one then. Let's call May 9th.
All right.
Circle it on the calendars, boys.
I'll wait in the chat so they can say it.
Tuesday, May 9th. The Basement Show goes to the Phils.
There you go. There you go. Put it in the chat so they can see it.
We'll be getting all these crazy son of a guns and. Can you imagine this whole group getting together in one place at one time, where there's alcohol and dollar hot dogs?
I could. I mean, I think it'd be a crazy good time.
I think so too.
And the funny thing is, that's what entertainment night. There's plenty of entertainment with that.
Yeah, you couldn't get more entertaining than projectile vomiting and.
Yeah, you're not lying, Ron.
Hey.
I'm trying to see what.
All you got to do is throw in some combos and you got a party.
Man, you guys aren't going to let me live that down. Here is one that's really surprising for you, okay?
Okay.
Saturday, July 1st. Okay? It's versus the Washington Nationals. It's a 4:05 p.m. start. And there is a post-game concert.
Okay.
But here's the catch. Diesel, a.k.a. Shaquille O'Neal.
What?
That's what?
What? Seriously?
I can
Really, John? Really, John?
You want me to take a picture and send it to you? Combo John. Oh my God, no. I hope Morgan's not watching. I won't hear the end of it tomorrow.
CJ Knast. Combo John.
You guys are mean.
I like it.
You
yeah, you'll have to excuse me if I call hard pass on the Shaq concert.
I'm just blown away by it.
Could you imagine?
Yo, my name.
Hey, you gonna eat that pizza?
Yep, I heard about Shaq Diesel was playing a post-game concert. Why?
What's next? Charles Barkley rapping?
Then your alumni weekend versus Minnesota this year. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
What else do we have? The Angels coming in. Wow, I only see.
The Angels are playing here this year.
Yes. Looks like
Mike Trout.
Looks like the end of August.
Trout and Ohtani.
It's just going to be a DJ set. He's not going to do nothing but play beats and maybe be his corny self and rap a little bit. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
And people will go.
That makes a little more sense.
People will pay to see it.
Sure they will.
me go back up real quick to the full schedule. I go season schedule. So, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, the first spring training game is actually this Saturday.
Really? Wow.
They have a split squad versus the Yankees, and then a split squad at the Detroit. So,
Okay.
then versus Minnesota on Sunday, Pirates Monday, and a split squad on Tuesday. So that's weird because they actually do a full spring training list of games while the baseball classic is going on.
Okay.
So if you watch any of these games, you will see a lot of the younger guys, so you could get more like eyesight on some of these players that are bubble marks. I like it. I mean, granted, a lot of the spring training games are at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I work during the day, but I don't see the $4 dog night, though. I only see the 3. But they open up in Texas and then the Yankees. Ouch. This season is the best chance you get players to have a chance make the roster because of the Flyers. Kevin, that is a very true statement. I like what you're thinking with that, dude. I mean, I completely agree. I'm sure Ron does too.
What do I agree with?
This season is the best chance you get the players to have to make the roster because of the Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I'm just looking at group information for the game.
Oh, what, for the Tuesday, May 9th?
Yeah.
I guess I should throw a request in now, huh? I mean, it's versus the Blue Jays. I don't see it being... And it's a Tuesday
No,
night.
it's but the Dollar Dog nights are popular.
That's true.
But you should be able to get tickets without a problem. All right,
I knew
but
it was definitely...
we float that out there.
Definitely $3 dog night, Sean, but I swore it was 4 for some reason. But 3 is better than 2 like last year. I agree. I mean, they probably got a lot of bash and criticism last year for only doing 2.
They did. There was a lot of people complaining about it.
So, ooh, then you got Mother's Day versus Boston. That'd be pretty cool. I just got an email today for group rates. If you want me to forward the email to you guys, send it to Ron. Ron's the coordinator. I'm just the host.
Yeah, okay. Well, I used to be the producer when I lived in the closet.
Yeah, are you trying to tell me I gotta put you back in?
Oh no. You let me out now. You got no chance of getting me back in.
Is that a threat?
Oh no, not at all. No,
I can make it happen.
I know you can.
See the craziness in my eyes?
Yeah. Well, I'm used to that though.
They don't call me crazy eyes for nothing. But no, I haven't been to a Phillies game in a couple of years, so it'd be good to get back in the stadium. What's your email, Ron? I don't know if you want me to. If you want to message him on the side, so people all email
Yeah,
you at once.
I'll send it to you on the side, Kev.
That way you'll be getting emails from everybody.
I don't know if I have his number. I might not.
Well, you probably always just send it to him on Messenger too.
Yeah, I'll give it to you Wednesday night.
There you go. Wednesday night it is.
Yep.
But yeah, you guys should see how much it would cost to rent out a box.
Yeah, just give it to me Wednesday.
There you go. We'll rent out a club box and we'll hang the Basement Show banner from it.
Oh wow.
That's exactly what I said. See, I'm not the only one that's reading your mind, Kev. Mine is too.
There you go.
But let's see. You also have the Detroit Tigers coming this year. Wow, you don't play them that late? Hold on. That can't be right. No, not there.
At least we don't have to play the Yankees and the Red Sox this year.
We play the Yankees the second series of the season.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And
then Boston comes in the first weekend in May.
Oh, okay.
but they're home for that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. So we don't play the Atlanta Braves till May 25th.
Really? Wow.
It's the first time we play Atlanta, and then
Yeah.
they will come to Philly for the first time till June 20th.
So that means we're going to play them a lot down the stretch.
Maybe. Wow. Listen to this. You got June 20th to the 22nd versus the Braves, and then the 23rd, 24th, 25th, the Mets come into town.
Wow. That's a tough stretch.
Yeah. Luckily, we're home.
Yeah, the Mets are going to be tough this year.
Yeah.
They added a lot of pieces. And the Braves just every year seem to be good. So I mean, it's going to be a tough 3-team race, I think.
Yeah, that's annoying playing like the NFC East. Yeah, I mean, that's how they're doing it. Like, I don't like this neither. You got June 9th, 10th, and 11th versus the Dodgers home. Okay?
Yeah.
But then the very next day, you're on the road starting the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th in Arizona. And then you travel again, and then you play 3 games in Oakland.
Wow.
So you figure that's what? 9 days in a row?
That's tough.
Wow.
That's tough.
What's
going on with the Yankees?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that question. I mean,
Yeah, I don't. You know who knows with the Yankees? They just let somebody go this week, didn't they? They released somebody.
I have to
Shoot.
look.
I read it too. I forget who it was. There was somebody. I don't think it was a starter. I think it was a reserve. But
Then they have a built-in doubleheader versus the Padres in July.
they hardly ever schedule doubleheaders anymore.
July 15th, 105 and then 705. Because again, they play July 4th through the 6th in Tampa Bay. Then they go to Miami from the 7th, 8th, 9th. Then you have the Home Run Derby and then the All-Star Game. Then you have 2 days off coming back from that. Like they play in the. I mean, this schedule is weird this year. It honestly doesn't make sense. Lanky's pitching bad. Lineup is pretty badass. After that guy, Jay just picked up his name, and his name escapes me. I guess I gotta look up the Yankees real quick. New York. If John would have got up from his nap when he was supposed to, he would have had all this stuff ready to go. So what happens when you work too much? The catcher injured. I mean, they always sign somebody.
I can't find it.
I'm gonna look at their roster though. Hold on.
Yeah, but there was somebody.
Albert Bridge.
Lineup is pretty badass after that guy they just picked up, and his name escapes me.
What do you got? Brito?
I don't think so.
Okay, so let's see. Rotation, they have Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, Silviano, Montez, Jermaine, and Smith. So he might be talking about Carlos Rodon, the guy they signed from the Giants.
Yeah. Maybe.
I'll put it in the chat, see if that looks familiar to him. Yep, that's it. There you go. I got it.
Yeah.
Mended. So, I mean, sure, the starters look good, but looking at their bullpen, I mean, that might be a weakness for him. Because they didn't bring back Chapman. I mean, they let a couple other people walk away.
Yeah.
Granted, they brought people in, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's definitely not going to be your typical Yankees team. I will say that.
No.
I think the AL East goes to Toronto this year, personally.
Really?
I mean, they're a young team. They're building something up there. I mean, Yankees have the power still. Don't get me wrong. You got Rizzo, LeMahieu, Torres, Cabrera, Josh Donaldson still.
It always seems like they're on paper they should be the best team, and then just they hit those stretches. It seems like sometimes that they just hit a lull,
Yeah.
and then they'll play good for 2 weeks, and then they'll hit another lull, and it's tough. I mean, it's a long season.
Yeah. I mean, I know Yankees fans are definitely happy they brought back Aaron Judge to keep him in the Bronx, but had to pay him a hell of a lot of money to do so.
That's true. But luckily, it's not like football. There's not a cap, so they don't have to worry about signing people.
Which I always said,
except for the luxury tax.
Yeah, I've always said there should be some type of cap though in Major League.
Because you're going to get the same 5-6 teams that are just going to dominate. Teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Red Sox and teams that are out there spending all kinds of money. But now you're starting to see some of those teams kind of pull it back a little bit.
True.
And I mean, like the Angels, it looks like they're going to change ownership, and if they do, you're going to see that money significantly drop on what they're spending.
Yeah. That's why on paper they get the best players, but they never all do what they have to at the same time. Like you need in football, signing to do on the field. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, if you sat down with a list of a roster of every team and you said, okay, who's going to win? You'd say, oh, look at this Yankees roster.
True.
And then, look at this Boston roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though, they let Bogarts go.
True. I mean, what really makes me laugh about the Toronto Blue Jays especially is like the youth for one, but like the ties to the major leagues they have. Like Guerrero Jr., we know who his father was. Vladimir Guerrero, one of the best power contact hitters in the game.
Yeah.
They got Calvin Biggio, who is the son of Craig Biggio.
Yep.
Who's another great defensive utility hitter, second baseman. Bo Bichette, who his father is. Used to play for the Rockies back in the day. Like, it's just a team with the offspring of all these former major league players.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they built their outfield really nice too. Bashano. I love George Springer. I thought he was great in Houston.
Yeah.
And then Merrifield is an underrated
Springer.
right fielder.
Did Springer play in Toronto?
Yes, George Springer.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And then you have Brandon Belt, who they just signed from the Giants as a backup first baseman / designated hitter. So.
Now, did he start? He started in Oakland, right? Belt. I think he was drafted by Oakland.
I believe so.
Back in the day. I think so.
He's always been.
No? Really?
He's always been in San Francisco.
I'm thinking of somebody else then.
I mean, getting up to an age, he's 34 this year, but
yeah,
he's still a very serviceable player.
Yeah.
You figure last year, what was he at? Batted 277 for the Giants.
Huh? Not bad. I'd take a 277 hitter.
Yeah. Compared to some players you have nowadays, so.
Yeah. Guys, hitting 235 and, striking out 190 times a year.
True.
But it'll be interesting this year to see if the averages go up with the elimination of the shift.
That's gonna have a good part of it, and then
the pitch clock.
yep.
I mean, there's a lot of things this year that people are going to see that they're going to go, wait, what? What's going on? It's like, why is that line in the field?
The biggest thing I'm curious to see is, like you said, the no shift.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're gonna see a lot more situational baseball with that.
Yeah.
Instead of people trying to kill the ball, now you can find a hole.
Yeah.
Which before,
Imagine that. Hit it where they ain't. It used to be when I used to coach men's softball. It's like, yeah, just hit it where they ain't. Simple enough.
Where were you when I needed a good coach growing up?
Wise words. Yeah.
I played baseball from T-ball up to the time I was about 12. So you figure that's right under, I think I was in the majors, they called it.
Yeah.
And I got hit by the hardest kid throwing in the league. Hit me with a fastball right on my kneecap.
Yeah.
Did my run around the bases, took my stuff, and I was like, I quit. I'm done. Never played again.
I was a catcher, and I had there were two guys in Babe Ruth. I was in Babe Ruth. I was caught all through Little League and stuff, but I also played some outfield too. But I played catcher, and I had to catch two guys who were both all South Jersey, all state. One was from Gloucester Catholic and one was from Deptford. And the guy from Deptford threw a deadly fastball. And the guy from Gloucester Catholic threw 7 different pitches. He threw a knuckle curve, for God's sakes. So I got beat up. Whenever I had to catch those guys, I had to put extra padding in my glove because my palm would get bruised. Because not everyone would end up in the web of the mitt. But man, I got beat up with those two guys, but they were two great pitchers.
No, I was mostly an outfielder, left and right field. I played the corners.
Yeah, and then when I went to slow pitch, I played center field most of my career, and then I played first base towards the end, all the way up till I was in my 40s actually.
Wow. I mean, Morgan's husband here sometimes pops in here. Kevin still plays in the men's league, and he's usually a second baseman or a shortstop. 2 positions I never played, never want to play.
Yeah.
But I played third base 1 inning before and hated it. Because, it's like cool and all, but like if you take that ball on the wrong bounce, you're getting hit in the face with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it ain't coming slow either.
No. Now, if you're in the outfield, you can just sometimes twiddle your thumbs. You can put your glove up in the air, catch your glove. Like, it's sometimes a slow day, but no, I was always in the outfield because they thought I had one of the strongest arms on the field.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, back before I got phone problems, I used to be able to throw from basically the outfield fence, the home plate on the rope.
Nice.
And it translated. I wound up being JV quarterback for a couple of years, but now I can maybe throw 50 feet at best because I'm hurt so much.
My thing was, as a catcher, I used to be able to sidearm around the batter and pick guys off of first base that strayed too far. I'd drop down to one knee and I could get around the batter and sidearm it. Nice. And then end up picking guys off left and right.
And then they get mad, spike their helmet.
Oh yeah, they were not happy. They should have learned after a while, but they didn't.
So looking at projections real quick, the Pacoda has the New York Mets go 96 and 66, the Braves 91 and 71, the Phillies 90 and 72. So 3 teams right through all 6 games apart. So we'll see. I'm Pat Mahomes from shortstop. Fair enough. I mean, that is something they mentioned during the Super Bowl. Also, Pat Mahomes being in the Little League World Series. I mean, I was. I'm just an old drunk.
Yeah. the glory days.
Yeah, an old drunk who likes to eat hot dogs, right, Kev? But
Yeah, I could. El Wingador is a friend of mine, so I trust me when you talk about guys that can eat. That guy was unbelievable.
hmm.
Bill was. I played ball with him too, but when he got into eating mode, man, he was crazy.
Kev, you might want to watch what you say in my chat, but that's kind of funny. I'm just gonna blast him for a second. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna leave it
Hey,
so those who are watching on different platforms can see it. Kevin loves wieners. I'm just kidding, Kev. I love you.
oh boy,
I did do one wing bowl back in the day. Me, my mom, my
yeah,
dad, and my younger sister went over, and my parents didn't know what to expect. They thought it was just guys eating wings and stuff. They didn't know
no,
all
no.
the other stuff that went on there.
I actually it was the year of the Super Bowl, and there was snow on the ground, and we were at Wing Bowl, and that's where I got my unfortunate nickname that day.
Oh,
And what happened was is that we were waiting in line, we're waiting, and we finally get to right up to the front of the line where the barricades are, and they close the doors, and they're like, "We're full." And that was before you needed a ticket.
yeah.
That was when it was just a free for all. So they said, "We're full." Well, the crowd surged behind me, right? And they pushed forward, and I got pushed into the barricade, and I like stumbled over the barricade. Well, into the barricade, and the barricade fell down. Well, then a one of Philly's finest decided that he was going to crack me in the back of the head with a baton.
Ouch.
I then got the unfortunate nickname of Lumpy. And I had that for several years at the bar because I had this big knot on the back of my head for the rest of the week where I had gotten whacked with a baton by a Philly police officer because he thought I was trying to storm the doors. So,
Ouch.
yeah, that it stung a little. I saw stars.
Oh, jeez. My wife was a wingette for a few wing bowls, so I was always down on the floor and always hanging out with the WIP crew. Nice.
Nice. And speaking of WIP, today was the first day of the new morning show
Yeah.
with Joe DeCamera. It just seemed weird to turn on the radio this morning and not hear Angelo. It totally weirded me out.
In a good way or a bad way? I'm kind of curious.
I enjoyed Angelo most of the time. I mean, the guy did it for 30 years.
True.
I mean, he was there at not at the very beginning, but right around the beginning with Tom Brookshire, who Brookshire started the station basically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just been 30 years of listening to Angelo, and he could be annoying at times, and he had his shtick that he did. But yeah, it just seemed different. I not necessarily better or worse. I mean, the camera is interesting. I like him too. I'll see how he does in the mornings with that crew, because now the whole dynamic of the callers is going to change. I mean, the one bad thing about it, Angelo, is it was always the same callers every day, and I mean, it was it wasn't a variety of people. It was like they screened their calls to the point where, the same dozen people you're going to hear every single day, and they're going to say the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
So, but that's sports talk. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, well, we can replace Angelo. I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
we start doing 6 to 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe have a bigger audience and stuff like that. Come hang out at the basement show Monday morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold your breath for that one.
Yeah, right. I listen to all the shows, though, even though I love the camera and Richie, it's still weird hearing them at 6 a.m. and not 10 a.m.
Yeah. Yep.
At least we won't have to hear from Will of God and a bunch of other terrible singer calls. Who knows?
Yeah.
You still might, Kev. I mean,
Butch from Manioc and his poems.
he cracks me up. There are a couple people that Andrew used to have on that would really make me laugh.
Yeah.
But then there'd be something like, what the hell did they just say?
Eagle Shirley.
Now, because my biggest thing is, now that you lose Angela, but you still have that commitment during certain seasons, how is the cameo going to handle interviewing these head coaches now? Because that's a mainstay on that platform that they're going to be keeping.
Yeah. I think he'll do okay.
So, he's saying Shirley was on today.
Yeah. I didn't get to listen to the whole show today. I listened to a little bit on my way in and when I was driving to the bank. So I heard a little bit, but I also I had a conference call, so I had to turn the radio down. So
I didn't. I forgot. It doesn't feel like a Monday because I was working such weird hours these last 2 days.
yeah.
It just threw me off. Like tomorrow even, I'm in at 7 o'clock tomorrow. I can't remember the last time I worked 7 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Yep.
Actually, Delcomar is pretty good at interviews. He's not that far from Angelo when it comes to that type of thing. Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely opinionated, and I mean, when he has an opinion, he sticks to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he'll die on that hill every time. So John Ritchie's a nice contrast to him because John's, the guy who's the voice of reason, I guess, is the closest thing to it on that show, and then you got Seltzer on there, the producer.
Yep.
And Rhea's in there, and then a bunch of the other contributors are still going to participate.
Al Margani said, right?
He signed a new contract, but I don't think he's going to be doing the mornings though.
Okay.
He did just sign a 5-year extension, but I think they're going to use him for some other stuff, and I think they're going to do some stuff streaming online too. With Al doing hockey stuff on the website and stuff.
And then who's the other one? Keith Jones is still on there sometimes, right?
Yeah, I don't know if Jonesy's going to still be part of the morning or not. It's still kind of in flux. I think they named off a few of the people that were still going to contribute, like Ruben Amaro, I think, and some of the other guys.
Jonesy retired with Angela.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, the only person who's definitely there from, Joe Wechter's still the producer, and Rhea.
I was gonna say Rhea. I heard Rhea Hughes was saying.
Yeah, she's still in the morning.
Con Klein would still be on in the. I don't know who Con Klein is.
Con Klein.
Never heard of that one.
I think he got auto corrected again.
Maybe. Al was doing the hockey podcast.
Yeah. I knew he was doing something with hockey.
Conklin.
Oh, Conklin. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So. I mean,
well, it'd be interesting how he meshes with the camera and Richie.
True. I'm just happy they didn't take off Ike and Mike.
Well, yeah, because they crushed their competition. They're number one in ratings in that time slot. They weren't going to move them.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's why they got Hugh Douglas to do the 10-2 with.
10-2
with what's his name? Joe Giglio.
Gotcha. But I never called in. I've always wanted to, but back in the day, I would tweet Reese and Marks a lot. They would read my tweets online, or when I used to work late at night, I would drive home and listen to Vince Quinn, who's no longer there, but he's now at CBS Sports. and I actually still talk to Vince Quinn on the side sometimes. I actually met Vince Quinn, John Bouchard, Elliott Shore Parks, and Michael Kiss the year we went down to Tampa Bay. And
Okay.
I sat and talked football with them for 3 hours, and they were like, "Damn, you have the knowledge that most people who are in this business have."
Yeah.
So now I'm putting it to good use.
There you go. And we all get the benefit from it.
Yeah, that is very true.
Way to go.
2 years in the making, and we're still pushing forward. So,
Yep.
and having fun with it. That's the biggest thing.
That's all that counts, man. If we're having fun and everybody here's having fun, then that's all we could ask for.
I called in last Sixers season, and my answer won me an MB jersey.
Nice.
There you go. Something to always remember, Kev. That's for sure. I mean, I was ecstatic when Recent Marks read my tweet on the line. On live. I was like, holy shit, they actually just read my tweet. Like,
Nice.
and then I told you about my dad calling in the one time when Howard Eskin used to have his own show. And said, Howard, all I want to say is you're an asshole. And hung up the phone.
Dupe.
Bob from Maple Shade, you're on WIP. How can I help you? Howard, just wanted to say you're an asshole. Click.
Wow.
My dad's 5 seconds of fame.
Yeah.
But like when you hear someone that you know calling into shows like this and talking to a passion, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I mean, there's times I've been wanting to call in and spit the shit with some people, show people up, but
Yeah.
until I started doing this, I wasn't comfortable talking on the phone really or talking in front of a camera. So I always thought I would sound funny calling into a radio station. So I never did. But now look at me.
Hey, there you go. Now you're on four or 5 nights a week.
Yeah, that is very true. But
That's another teaser, by the way, if somebody didn't realize. Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to start working on the side on that. You might see little bits and pieces pop up from here to there. So keep an eye on the page. Keep an eye on the live shows. Because you never know. We might just pop in a commercial real quick. I don't have advertising yet. But I can run a preview video or something like that. Like a little teaser.
Yep.
Because there are all new things coming to the show. If you follow the page, you'll see I do have new LED lights put up in the studio. I gotta close the room off hopefully within the next 2 weeks. I gotta get a 2x4 plaster on the drop ceiling, then I can hang a track and get doors up.
Okay.
So I'm not saying I'm behind schedule, on schedule. I'm doing it on my pace.
Hey, that's all. It's all good.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, we have a lot of exciting content this week. Morgan's back tomorrow night for entertainment night. We're doing more Guess the Logo trivia.
Yeah.
Wednesday's Video Game Mania. Probably going to talk Sega Genesis this week.
Regardless of high viewer demand, DJ Scoop will not be appearing tomorrow night.
No? Well, I guess we can think more.
For those of you who know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, if not, they can always go back and rewatch it. I mean,
Yeah, if you want to laugh, take a look. Actually, on the page, there's a clip. So, but yeah, that apparently DJ Scoop blew up on TikTok.
Yeah. Among other things I've done on that platform lately.
Yeah.
I learned about WIP when I was 18, and it was overnight with Big Daddy Green, another favorite
Oh,
of
yeah.
mine. And my dad listened, and when I started being allowed to drink beer and get drunk with Dad, I listened and with him and went to my first wing bowl at the old Spectrum while a senior in high school, and have been listening ever since, which is 26 years now. I'm going to ignore that last comment. What about Kevin, you want to start the DJ combo stuff? Come into chat tomorrow night. You can really get somebody irking and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do it in a hashtag.
Oh, jeez.
Morgan will crap herself.
Yeah, we're all about our hashtag.
We got her last week. That's for sure.
We did. She had no idea. That was great.
Nah. Caught by surprise.
Oh man.
I guess that's pretty much it for the night, huh?
Yeah, unless there's something else you want to talk about.
Nah, I think we covered a good bit of ground today.
Yeah.
You know.
I can't say too much because I have it in print. I like. Was it?
Yeah, you got a point. That's a good time to lay low.
It is. I got blackmail, Kev. Wait for it. There it is. I'm watching the stream on my phone, and like it literally just popped up on screen. So I gotta figure out how to get rid of that delay.
Uh,
But now when you see him on Wednesday, you can walk up, whisper, and do. I love wieners. I saw that jerk. But that's what it's all about here, Kev. We like to have fun, interact with people in the chat. That's why I do these shows live, so that we can have the interaction.
yeah, absolutely. It makes it more fun.
It does.
Plus we get to have you guys be involved. And I mean, Kev, you were great tonight, man. Lots of great stuff from you. We appreciate it, and everybody else that stopped in.
Yeah. Gary was in for a while. Curtis stopped in to say hello.
Prince
dropped the share bomb, which is always appreciative.
Yep.
Nita Walter Gaming stopped in.
Yep.
My cousin Kelsey popped in for a couple minutes. Curtis.
Yep.
As always, no. Gary, you gotta reverse that. We want to thank you.
Thank you. Because without you guys, it'd just be us, talking to ourselves. That's probably not a good thing.
No, but it's better when you actually can talk to somebody, have a conversation, rather than try to run the show sometimes by yourself and interact with both. That's what people say I've really taken off. Like, I can be hosting a show by myself, interacting with the chat, but also still trying to run the show I want to run.
Yep.
So,
but luckily for you, you're stuck with me now. So there you go.
Well, until I put you back in the closet.
Yeah, well, there's always that possibility, but we're trying to avoid that. It kind of smells a little weird in there.
Hello and good night.
Hey, Matt.
On, see you Wednesday. Make sure you tell him that he loves wieners on Wednesday when you see him. And then both you guys will get back on when I can. Kev, we always appreciate you in chat. So,
that kind of puts a new spin on Dollar Dog Night, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, circular calendars. What do we say? May 9th, right?
May 9th. Mark it on the calendar. Basement show night at the Phil's. Dollar Dog Night.
I'm writing that in the chat right now, so people who want to go back and rewatch the show will see the comment.
Yes.
Dollar.
We're gonna make this happen, man.
Dog Night. I can't type for some reason. And basement show. We should see if we can get t-shirts printed for that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Basement show night.
Yeah, Kev.
Kev, if you can pull that off, I'd be mighty impressed. I get them at half price right since I love them so much.
Yeah, I could see that call from the ticket office putting you on the flag list. Hi, excuse me, sir. I love wieners. I'd like to purchase 20 tickets, please.
Click.
Oh, shit.
Tries calling back. Hi, I just called about tickets. Click. That's family call ID at that point.
Yeah.
But I like that. Dog Night and Basement Show Night at the Phillies.
Yeah, man. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I mean, as a good, if we do get the t-shirts made, though, it actually would help publicize the show, too.
Yeah, there you go. Kill two birds with one stone.
Amen. I mean, I would really at a Phillies game.
Yeah.
So I get like the little 4x6 like invitation type things printed out and be like one of those assholes who go around put it on car windows. I don't know how many times you ever had that problem at your job, but like
I've had it a few times. Not at the current one, but in ones in the past. It was bad.
If I did that at Wegmans, I'd get probably kicked out of the store for solicitation.
Yeah.
But no, I mean pretty much it. I mean, as always, you can always go back and rewatch all these shows if you want to have a laugh, listen to what we talked about, so you're ready for next Monday night. And,
guys, we're 3 followers away from our 300, man. Spread the word. Let's make sure that everybody's got a following us on Facebook. Even if you want to bribe somebody a couple bucks, I'll talk about reimbursing you. But no, I'm only kidding. I ain't got that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, we need 3 or 4 more followers to get over the hump. So
yeah,
hashtag get on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're following the page, you can go back and invite your friends to like the page too. So
yes,
any support we get, we greatly appreciate. I mean, there are new exciting things coming soon, but we're always just here to have fun. And
there's another teaser.
Yeah, another one for the book. But yeah, I just thank everybody who popped in tonight. I mean, it's always awesome to see faces. Hope we get some new faces in here.
Yep.
But
I mean, now that we're kind of in that transition time between football and baseball, it's a little less traffic in here. But then once the Phils kick into gear, we'll start to bounce back a little bit. But hey, the guys that came in tonight, guys and ladies, we appreciate you. We love interacting, and we appreciate you being part of the show. It's because of you guys that we're here.
Yeah. And if they don't say nothing in chat, really, just dropping a like, sharing the stream out helps too.
Absolutely.
We had 7 reactions tonight, and a couple people didn't even talk. Like Jimmy Duke's Gaming dropped a like. We had Prince, Curtis, Lou Funo dropped a like. Gabe Socha dropped a love reaction, and my friend Gary. So that's 7 reactions. That's awesome.
Yeah. You said Lou Fumo?
Yeah, he liked the stream.
Cool. Okay.
So I guess that's someone you might know?
Yeah, he's from Bowling.
Well, if I don't know when you bowl with him, next time you see him, tell him to drop a hello in the chat. I mean,
yep. Yeah.
We encourage everyone to say hi.
Yeah, man.
But I'll be back tomorrow night with Miss Morgan, like I said, for entertainment night. And Ron will be on with me this Friday night again for our Friday night movie night.
Yep.
We haven't talked about what we're going to be discussing yet, or we might throw a trivia game. I have maybe something in mind. I'll run by you later in the week, see what you think.
Okay.
Make it more interactive on Friday night. But
hey, movie trivia, I'm all good.
So
I like it.
But other than that, we will see you. I'll see you tomorrow night, and Ron will see you when he sees you.
I'll see you when I see you.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a great night, guys. Thanks.
Good night.